Hello everyone. So our today's topic of discussion is concept of region. So this is a topic which is a part of coordinate geometry, and this is a very important topic whether you are preparing for SAT, GMAT or GRE. It's a very important topic, and usually from this topic you get the difficult question. The difficult question that will come in your exam. This is like one of those topics from where you will only get difficult questions. Now they become difficult for the fact that we are not very well versed with the concept. Okay, so this is a really important topic, so please do pay full attention while I'm explaining each and everything to you. Okay, in this topic, that is the concept of region. In SAT you get almost like 2 to 3 questions from this topic. In GRE it goes the same way, and same for GMAT. It's really an important topic. Okay, so you must have seen like linear inequality, something like, okay, 4x is greater than 3y plus 8, or 3y is less than equal to 7x minus 15. So those inequality equations. Now how do you draw those inequality equations on an xy plane? That is something that we're going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so I'm going to teach you this topic from the very scratch of it, and it's going to be a long video. Let me be very frank in the start itself, but it's going to be an interesting one if you understand the concept, and it's going to be really helpful to you. Okay, no matter which exam you're appearing for. All right, let's begin from the basics. Now there are like teachers who call it with a different name, no denying on that part. I call it as the concept of region, and I'm gonna tell you also why I call it a region. Okay, let's understand. Let's start from the scratch. So let's talk about a line y is equal to x. Okay, now if I talk about this line y is equal to x, what do you mean by this line? What do you mean when you say y is equal to x? When you say y is equal to x, that basically means you have a collection of points. You have a collection of points whose respective x coordinate is equal to their y coordinates. You have a collection of points whose x coordinate is equal to their y coordinates. For example, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4, minus 1 comma minus 1, minus 2 comma minus 2, minus 3 comma minus 3, minus 4 comma minus 4, and so on and so forth. So when you'll connect all these points, the line that you will get, that is equal to y is equal to x. Okay, so this is what is meant by the line y is equal to x. That is, all the points that lie on the line have equal x and y coordinate. Okay, okay. Now I have a question. My question is, now this is this line y is equal to x. My question is, let's say suppose I pick a point. I pick a point anywhere above this line. I pick a point anywhere above this line. Let's say this point has some coordinates p comma q. Let's say this point has some coordinates p comma q. Okay, this point that I have picked, it can be in the first quadrant, it can be in the second quadrant, it can be in the third quadrant, but one thing is same for all the points that you will be picking, that these points, all of these points lie above the line x is equal to y. All these points, any point that you pick should lie above the line x is equal to y. Okay, now the question is, what conclusion can you draw regarding p and q? What conclusion can you draw regarding p and q? What I mean by that is whether p is greater than q, whether p is equal to q, or whether p is less than q. What conclusion can you draw regarding p and q? Okay, so think about it and then play back the video. Okay, I want you to have your mental answer ready. Okay, like what do you think about it? Whether p will be greater than q, will be equal to q, less than q, or like we can't say. Think about it, and you should have a proper justification also with you. Okay, now let me make you understand this. What's gonna happen? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop a perpendicular from this point onto x-axis. I'm going to drop a perpendicular from this point onto x-axis. Now if I'm going to drop a perpendicular, what's going to happen? This point is going to meet this line x is equal to y at some point. Let's call it p dash comma q dash. let's call it P dash comma Q dash. Now since this point P dash comma Q dash, since this point having coordinates P dash comma Q dash, since it lies on the line x is equal to y, since it lies on the line x is equal to y, can I say P dash is supposed to be equal to Q dash? Can I say P dash is supposed to be equal to Q dash? Can I say this, yes or no? I can say this, right? Because it lies on the line x is equal to y. Now, let's do one thing. Let's call this point A having coordinates P comma Q, and this point as A dash having coordinates P dash comma Q dash. Okay. Now this point A dash lies on the line x is equal to y. So I can say that P dash will be equal to Q dash. Okay. Now, when you're going from A dash to A, you're basically moving in the vertical direction. Now, if you're moving in the vertical direction, can I say my x coordinate will not change? Because your x coordinate changes whenever you move to the right or to the left. When you're moving in the vertical direction, your x coordinate will not change, which means one thing is for sure, that P will be equal to P dash. The x coordinate will not change. And since you're moving up, the y coordinate will increase. Because whenever you go up, your y coordinate increases. Which means one thing is for sure, that Q has to be greater than Q dash. Now, if you use these three, you'll come to the conclusion that P is greater than Q. Because P dash and Q dash are equal, so P will be equal to Q. So the bottom line is, if you're gonna pick any point that lies above this line x is equal to y, then that line's y coordinate will always be, sorry, my mistake. If you're gonna pick a point that lies above this line, above the line y is equal to x, then that point's y coordinate will always be greater than that point's x coordinate. That is why the region that lies above the line y is equal to x is represented by the inequality y greater than x. That's why the region that lies above the line y is equal to x is represented by the region y greater than x. Take any point that lies above the line y is equal to x. For any point that lies above the line y is equal to x, that point's y coordinate will always be greater than that point's x coordinate. This is the graphical interpretation of y greater than x. If someone asks you, like, represent on a graph y greater than x, this is what you're going to do. You're going to draw the line y is equal to x, and you will take the region that lies above the line. Okay, now let's move on. Let's take a point that lies below the line also. But I hope by now you would have understood what will be the inequality for the region that lies below the line. But anyways, we're going to take up a point. So let's take a point somewhere here. And let's say that this point has some coordinates r, s. Again, the same question, whether r is greater than x, less than s, or equal to s. Only one thing is sure, that this point lies below the line. It can lie anywhere below the line. Okay, anywhere. Here it can lie, here, it can lie here, it can lie here, anywhere. Anywhere means anywhere. But one thing is sure, that this point lies below the line y is equal to x. Okay. So let's see what we can do. What we're going to do is, we're going to again drop a perpendicular. We're going to do the same thing. but this time we're going to draw perpendicular to y, not to x. And let's say the coordinate of this point, that black point which is lying on the line y is equal to x, has coordinate r dash comma s dash, has coordinates r dash comma s dash. Okay, now this r dash comma s dash lies on the line y is equal to x, which means I can say that r dash will be equal to s dash, because it lies on the line x is equal to y, because it lies on the line x is equal to y. Now if you want to go from r dash comma s dash, if you want to go from r dash comma s dash to r comma s, you have to move towards your right. You have to move towards your right. And if you are going right, can I say your y coordinate will not change? Because whenever you go left or right, your y doesn't change. Which means one thing is sure, that is s dash will be equal to s. Which means one thing is sure, that is s dash will be equal to s. Secondly, if you are moving towards your right, can I say your x coordinate will increase? Can I say that your x coordinate will increase? Because whenever you move right, x coordinate increases. Whenever you move left, x coordinate decreases. So if x coordinate is increasing, then can I say r will be greater than r dash? So combine these three and you'll get the conclusion that r is greater than s. R is greater than s. Which means if you talk about the region that lies below the line y is equal to x, if you talk about this region which lies below the line y is equal to x, then you can say that for any point lying below this line, that point's x coordinate will always be greater than that point's y coordinate. That point's x coordinate will always be greater than that point's y coordinate. Now think about this for a moment. If I talk about x and y, can I say there are only three things possible? Either x will be greater than y, x will be equal to y, and x will be less than y. And interestingly, you have all the three things on your screen. You have graphical interpretation of all the three things on your screen. Okay, so you have, what you have done is you have basically divided your entire graph, your entire 2D graph into three regions. One is the line x is equal to y, one is the region that lies above the line, one is the region that lies below the line. This is the concept of region. That's how you do it. Okay, this is the basics that you need to understand. Now we're going to take this one step ahead. The next thing that you need to understand is interpretation of linear inequalities. For example, let's say I give you a random equation, a random inequality. Let me put it in this way. Let's say y is greater than 2x plus 7. Y is greater than 2x plus 7. So what do you mean by this? Let's try and understand. So what will you do is, first thing first, you'll have to draw x and y. So this is y, this is x. So what you will do first of all is, you're going to remove this inequality sign and you're going to rewrite this as y is equal to 2x plus 7, because usually inequality confuses students. I know that it confuses. So I'm going to simply remove it. I'm going to make things easier for you. I'm going to put an equal sign. So y is equal to 2x plus 7. Now compare this equation with the slope intercept form of a line, that is y is equal to mx plus c, or sometimes people do call that as y is equal to mx plus b also. It's completely your call, it doesn't matter also. So I can say that my slope is positive and my y-intercept is also positive. I can say that my slope is positive, my y-intercept is also positive. I just need a rough interpretation. Mind it, whether you're preparing for SAT, GMAT or GRE, you just need a rough interpretation of linear inequalities. Okay, exact it's not required, don't worry about it. Anyways, so slope is positive, y-intercept is positive. Positive slope, so we already know how to draw positive slope. The line is going to pass through first and third quadrant, and positive intercept, which means it's going to cut the y-axis above origin. Above origin passing through 1 and 3. So I can say that my line is going to be something like this. My line is going to be something like this. So you can say that this point here, this will be 0, 7, which is your y-intercept. But now understand this line represents the equation y is equal to 2x plus 7. This line represents the equation y is equal to 2x plus 7. But you don't need y equal to 2x plus 7, right? What you need is y greater than 2x plus 7. So when you say y greater than, then you will take the region that lies above the line. You will take the region that lies above the line. So this is the region of consideration. This is the region of consideration. That is the region that lies above the line. Similarly, let's suppose if in the same question it was given to you that y is less than 2x plus 7. So less than means you will take the region that lies below the line. Y less than means you will take the region that lies below the line. It may also happen that you have y greater than equal to. If you have y greater than equal to, then you will take the region that lies above the line and on the line, because you have an equal to also. If it is less than equal to, then you will take the region that lies below the line and the points that lie on the line. Okay, so this is how you interpret a linear inequality. Now let's take another complex example. Let's make things a bit more difficult. Let's say I say that minus 3x minus 4y is less than equal to it, and I want to represent this on a graph. Now what I will do is first of all, let me teach you step by step what you have to do when you have complex inequality, something like these. First thing is, put y on one side, or not put, keep is the better word. Keep y on one side and everything else basically means the x part and the constant part on the other side. Keep y on one side and everything else on the other side. Okay, so that means I can rewrite my equation as, I'm going to add 3x on both the sides. I'm going to add 3x on both the sides of inequalities. I'm going to get minus 4y is less than equal to 3x plus h. I'm going to write this as minus 4y is less than equal to 3x plus h. Next, what I'm going to do is, the next step which you need to know is, step number 2 is coefficient of y should always be 1. Coefficient of y should always be 1. Now, if I want the coefficient of y to be 1, I am supposed to divide left hand side by minus 4, which means that I'll have to divide right hand side by minus 4 also. Now, when we were doing linear inequalities, I told you that whenever you multiply or divide by a negative constant, then your sign of inequality changes, right? So this will become y is greater than or equal to negative 3 by 4x negative 2. Negative 3 by 4x negative 2. Okay, so now once you're done with these two steps, now you can rewrite it Now you can rewrite this as y is equal to minus 3 by 4x minus 2, and then you can like solve the equation. Don't put directly equal to in this step itself, okay? Like in this start itself, don't put minus 3x minus 4y is equal to it. No doubt you will get the same equality, but that inequality sign will change a lot of things, okay? So first is keep y on the one side and everything else on the other side, and second is make coefficient of y equal to 1. Okay, now let's draw this also. Since we have come this far, so let's draw this one also. So first thing first, we'll have to draw x and y coordinate. This is y axis, this is x axis. Okay, so we have, looking at the equation, I can say that I have a negative slope and I have a negative intercept. I have a negative slope and I have a negative intercept. Negative slope, that means line is going to pass through second and fourth quadrant. Negative intercept means the line is going to intersect the y-axis below origin. Okay, so you can say that your line will be something like this. The line will be something like this. Negative slope and negative intercept. Now, this is the equation of the line. We are looking for inequality. Now, what does inequality say? It says y greater than or equal to. Y greater than or equal to. That means point lying on the line as well as above the line are gonna satisfy. Points lying on the line as well as above the line are gonna satisfy. So this is how you draw a linear inequality on an xy plane. On a xy plane. Okay, now we simply have to solve the questions. All right. Let me solve the first one for you. Then you can like start pausing the video and like trying it yourself. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm going to draw the x and y axis. That's the first thing I have to do. I'm going to simply write x and y. Write axis again and again. Waste of time. Okay. Anyway, so let's read the question now. In the rectangular coordinate system, which of the following quadrants, so which of the following basically means like 1, 2, 3 and 4, if any, contains at least one point that satisfies the inequality. So I'm looking for all those quadrant which contains at least one point, that satisfy this inequality. Okay, so first thing first, I'll have to like rewrite this inequality. So minus 3y is less than minus 4x minus 12. Then dividing both sides by minus 3, y is greater than 4 by 3x plus 4. Y is greater than 4 by 3x plus 4. Okay, so I can say one thing for sure, that it has a positive slope and it has a positive intercept. So positive slope and a positive intercept, which means the line will be something like this. Positive slope and a positive intercept, that means the line would be something like this. And this value you can say it's going to be 0, 4. Now it says y greater than, that means the region that lies above the line will be our region of consideration. So you can see it for yourself that you have points in quadrant 3, you have points in quadrant 2, and you have points in quadrant 1, which will satisfy this inequality. had the question been that in the rectangular coordinate system, which quadrant does not contain at least one point. So if it was does not contain, then in that case your answer would have been quadrant 4, because quadrant 4, the entire quadrant 4 lies below the line. It does not lie above the line, it's lying below the line. Okay, so your answer is quadrant 1, quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. All right, let's move on to question number 2. So same question based on the same logic. So pause the video and try this question for yourself. This for your practice. Please try this one. All right, let's see what we can do with this one. So again, first thing first, and I'm going to rewrite this as minus 4y plus x is greater than 4. So minus 4y is greater than minus x plus 4. Dividing both sides by negative 4, I'm going to get y is less than x by 4 minus 1. Y is less than x by 4 minus 1. So you have a positive slope, and a negative intercept. So positive slope and a negative intercept, your line will be something like this. Your line will be something like this. It says y less than means you will take this region. Which lies below the line. So you have points in third quadrant, fourth quadrant and first quadrant satisfying the inequality, but in second quadrant you have no point. So the question is, which quadrant contains at least one point? So in this case your answer becomes first, fourth and third, or first, third, fourth if you want to write in the sequential order. And which quadrant contains no point? That becomes quadrant 2. So these are like the easy questions of this chapter. Okay, anyways, let's move on. All right, now this is a bit difficult. What I have done is, like, I have twisted the question a bit. Okay, usually you're gonna get these questions with options, so I have twisted this question a bit because, like, I want to compare and contrast cases with you guys. Okay, so that you have a detailed understanding of what we are doing. Anyways, let's see. So the question is, represent the inequality on an xy plane if this is less than 0 and this is greater than 0. Let's see what we can do. So first thing first, I can rewrite this as by is greater than minus ax minus c, or y is greater than minus a by bx minus c by b. So you have a slope of minus a by b and you have an intercept of minus c by b. Now according to signs of a, b and c, you're gonna come to know that whether slope is positive or negative, or whether intercept is positive or negative. Now let's try and understand this. Now there are like two inequalities involved, ab less than 0 and ac greater than 0. I'll have to solve both of them. Let's see. So I'm gonna solve the first inequality first, that is ab less than 0. Now if a into b is less than 0, we have already discussed this in inequalities chapter, that if product of two numbers is less than 0, which means one of them is positive, the other is negative. Okay, so that means a is positive and b is negative, or I can say that a is negative or b is positive. These are the only two things that can happen. Now it says that second inequality says that AC is greater than 0. If AC is greater than 0, If AC is greater than 0, then either both of them are positive or both of them are negative. Either both of them are positive or both of them are negative. So A is positive, C is also positive. A is negative, C is also negative. Now I need to take that is something that is common. So if A is positive, B is negative, this and this case can combine, and A negative, B positive, A negative, C negative, this and this case can combine. So basically I can say that A positive, B negative, C positive, or A negative, B positive, C negative. These are the only two cases that can happen. These are the only two cases that can happen. So accordingly, we'll have to figure out the slope and intercept, also the signs basically. Okay, first case is A positive, B negative. If A is positive and B is negative, I'm gonna decode it slowly. So my slope is minus A by B. My slope is minus A by B. If A is positive and B is negative, if A is positive and B is negative, can I say A by B in itself has to be negative or no? If A is positive and B is negative, then positive over negative has to be negative, right? Positive over negative has to be negative, which means this entire expression has to be positive. This entire expression has to be positive. This entire expression has to be positive because I have a negative sign in front of A by B. Second thing is the intercept. So intercept is minus C by B. Now when C is positive, B is negative. So this part again in total will also become negative. And then negative into negative will give you what? It will give you a positive result. It will give you a what? Positive result. Come to the second case now. Now I guess second case is also going to give us the same result because A and B are of opposite signs and B and C are also of opposite signs. So if A and B are of opposite signs, then A by B is negative. So negative into negative will again become positive because I have a negative sign in front of A by B. A by B in itself is negative. So negative into negative will become positive. And same thing I can say for intercept also, that negative into negative will automatically become positive. Which means there is only one case. Which means there is only one case. That is slope positive and intercept also positive, which means the line would be something like this. This would be your line. This would be your line. And this would be your answer. So you'll be given like a couple of options. There will be one option something like this. This would be the correct option. Alright, let's move on. So pause the video and try this question yourself, please. Alright, so another interesting question. The coordinates of origin do not satisfy. You do get these type of questions also, okay? Let's see. So first thing first, I'll have to draw x and y axis. So let me draw that. This is x. This is y. Okay. If the coordinates of origin do not satisfy the inequality above, okay. So what I'm going to do is, second thing is I'm going to rewrite this as minus 7y is greater than minus cx plus b, and I'm going to divide both sides by -7, so I'm going to get y is less than cx by 7 minus b by 7. Y is less than cx by 7 minus bx by 7. Okay. Now what are the possibilities we can have? Let's see. First thing is slope is positive, intercept can be positive, can be negative, it can be 0, and it can be undefined. See, again, I have taken this question from a theoretical purpose. Okay, my purpose is not to like give you questions and like mark A, B, C, D, whatever the options are. My purpose is that you should understand each and everything. That's my concern. So it may take me like some time to solve the question. You will not get these kind of questions in the exam, but if you do not understand these questions, you won't be able to develop your basics. Okay. The first thing is your slope is positive, your intercept can be positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw all the 4 cases. I'm going to draw, so let me make this x and y axis a bit bigger one. Okay. So when slope positive, intercept positive, my line would be something like this. When my slope is positive, intercept is negative, then my line would be something like this. When my slope is positive, my intercept is 0, then my line would be something like this. It's going to pass through origin. It's going to pass through origin. And second case is slope positive, intercept is undefined. Now intercept undefined, that means the line will not intersect the y-axis at all. Now think about this for a moment. Is it possible that the line should pass through first and third quadrant and it should not intersect the y-axis? The line should pass through first and third because the slope is positive, and it should not cut the y-axis. Is that possible? No, it's not possible, right? So fourth case is not possible. So we're going to keep that aside. So now in all the 3 cases, what we have is less than, which means we will take the region that lie below the line. We will take the region that lie below the line for all the 3 cases. So I have also drawn below the line. Now the question is, if the coordinates of origin do not satisfy the inequality, coordinates of origin do not satisfy the inequality. Now what this basically means is that the origin should not lie in the region you have taken for consideration. It basically means that the origin should not lie in the region which you have taken for consideration. For example, if I talk about this case number 1, when I have a positive slope and a positive intercept, if I talk about this case number 1, the line number 1, the region that I have to take is below the line, right? The region that I have to take is below the line, and you can very well see that this origin also lies below the line. This origin also lies below the line, which means origin is satisfying. Because it's lying in that concerned region. It's lying in that concerned region, so it is satisfying the inequality. Which means line number 1 is not the line that I have to take into consideration. Let's move on to line number 2. Now for line number 2, we have to take the region that lies below the line. Now in this case, the origin lies on the line. Hence now it's not satisfying. Okay, so second line is fine, and similarly you can see it for yourself that the third line is completely fine because the origin lies above the line. We have to take the region that lies below the line. So for case number 2 and for case number 3, this satisfies, sorry, I basically mean origin do not satisfy the inequality above. So we can say that slope is positive, which means C is positive. And when you talk about, let me write it in simple way, we will figure out relationship between B and C in the later stages. We'll simply say that slope positive and y-intercept, I can say 0 or negative, both will work. Okay, this is case number 1. All right, now let's move on to the next case. Next case we will take is when slope is negative, and again the 4 cases. Slope negative, intercept positive, slope negative, intercept negative, slope negative, intercept 0, slope negative, intercept not defined. That's not possible. Fourth case is not possible. Because if slope is negative, line is supposed to pass through second and fourth. And when you say that your y-intercept is undefined, that means line should not cut the y-axis. So that's not possible. Okay. So let's draw the 3 cases. Negative slope, positive intercept. Negative slope, 0 intercept. Negative slope and negative intercept. These are the 3 cases. Again, y less than, so you will take the region that lies below the line. It will lie below the line. Again, you want origin to not satisfy, so you can see that again for line number 1, it is satisfying. So you don't have to take this line into consideration. But when you talk about this line number 2 and then this line number 3, for these 3 cases the origin is not satisfying, because for line number 2 the origin is lying on the line, and for line number 3 the line is lying below the origin, or the origin is lying above the line. Okay, so again in this case, when slope is negative, you can say that your y-intercept is exactly the same. It can be 0, it can be negative also. Both of them are possible. Let's go for case number 3 now. Case number 3 is when slope is 0. Now when slope is 0, let me write it here also. When slope is 0, then I can have 3 types of lines. Let me draw that for you. Slope 0 basically means line is parallel to x-axis. So when slope is 0, you can have a line something like this. Or you can have this one. That is the x-axis itself. So when slope is negative, intercept can be positive, intercept can be negative, intercept can be 0 also. So slope is 0. Now again in all the 3 cases, y less than, so we have to take the region that lies below the line. So you can see that again for case number 1, the region is below and origin is also below the line, so this satisfies. But for case number 2 and for case number 3, it does not satisfy, because in one of the cases origin is lying on the line, but the region for consideration is below the line. And for case number 3, origin is lying above the line, but the region of consideration is below the line. Okay, so the third possible scenario is slope is 0, so your y-intercept again can be 0 and negative. Again can be 0 and negative. And the last case now. And the last case, when slope is undefined, or when line is parallel to, or let me put it this way, line is perpendicular to x-axis. When line is perpendicular to x-axis. So you're gonna have two lines, 1 and 2. So slope is not defined and neither is the intercept defined in this case. So in this case, the intercept is also not defined. So in this case, what's gonna happen? These lines are something like x is equal to 4, x is equal to -8. Now the problem is that in this case, the coefficient of y has to be 0. So, but here we have a coefficient of y. The coefficient of y is not 0, so we will not take this into consideration. Okay, we will not take this into consideration. So 3 cases. Now let's find out our conclusion. So slope negative, positive, 0, everything can happen, but y-intercept will always be 0 or negative. Y-intercept will always be 0 or negative. So they can like give you statements and options. If slope is positive, then y-intercept is positive. If slope is negative, then y-intercept is negative. If slope is 0, then y-intercept is 0, and something like that. And they can like give you, they can also do one thing. They can also give like 4-5 statements, and they can say only 1 is true, only 2 is true, only 3 is true, and something like that. They can also give you this as a quantity comparison question. So if for GRE aspirants, like you can have quantity A, quantity B, then they can write C, then they can write B. So using this, you'll have to determine what's going to happen. Okay, so these are the cases which can be found. However, again the point here is that you need to understand that it's about the concept. In these videos, I'm teaching you the concept so that you learn, you grasp the thing. Okay, so let's figure out the signs first of all. So I can say that the sign of C, because since slope is negative, positive, 0, so C can be positive, C can be 0, C can be negative. Any other 3 things is possible. Now intercept has to be 0 or negative. Intercept has to be 0 or negative. Now mind that there is already a negative in front of B. Please mind this, that there is already a negative in front of B. Which means when you talk about B, B can either be positive or 0. Remember that B can't be 0. Sorry, B can't be negative. My mistake. B can't be negative. B can't be negative. That's not possible. Okay, so they can also give you that which of the following statement is true, and they can like give you like C is positive, C is 0, C is negative, B is positive, and B is negative. And they can give you 5 options, which is like not true. C negative, that's not true. For SCT, they'll give you 4 options, no denying on that part. But this is how they can like give you a good question. So this basically covered up like all the cases that you need to know. Okay, so I think like this will be like more than sufficient for this video. I believe that. Yeah, I don't want you to take too much stretch on this one video. So we'll keep it till here. I'll have to, there are like a couple of more questions that I'll be solving on this topic. Very interesting topic. I like this topic a lot. It's very interesting, and because you have to think a lot in this, like a lot of cases which can be found, and it uses the basics of slopes and intercepts. So if you do not know what exactly slope, if you do not know what exactly is intercept, so please do watch my basic videos on coordinate geometry and slope of a line. It will help you in understanding what is intercept, what is slope. Very important, because there are like types of slope, there are like types of intercepts. You need to know each and everything. Alright guys, then let's keep it till here for this video, and I'll be making one more video in which I'll be solving the remaining questions. Probably there are 6-7 more questions on this topic which I'll be solving. So guys, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Please share the channel with your friends also. And if you're looking for personalized classes, or if you have any doubts, if you have any concerns, you can always connect me on WhatsApp or email, or you can always drop in a comment. Okay, if you have any concerns, any questions, if you have any suggestions, I am more than open. All right guys, thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much.